All right, we're back in Alchemist Lab. This is the Alchemist Lab exclusive. Of course, the preview will be up on the channel, multiple channels. But if you do get this, it will be on my website and my Patreon. I do still use Patreon sometimes. Now I'm using it more and more because more and more people are starting to subscribe to it, and I don't just want to just abandon it. So I started back using that. So I do still got some stuff on there, and this will be on there too. But somebody asked me about getting videos and different lectures and stuff like that. Where can they find it? You just go to my website. This individual lesson right here, lecture right here, will be for individual sale if you want to get it. I know some people, they don't really want to subscribe to the Patreon, so they just want to get individual videos. Or they just want to, if you're on the music side of things, they don't want to subscribe to the Patreon, but they want to just like get some sound healing music. But you will get all of that stuff if you do subscribe to the Patreon, either through Patreon or just through my website or whatever. And I got my website back up and running again, so it's on and popping, on and good. So we gonna sit and talk about thaumaturgy in this video. I'm going to be coming from different books, different websites and stuff, just to give some scholarship on what I'm saying. And going back what I was saying about the web, somebody mentioned downloading the videos. I know some people still use DVDs, which is pretty cool, and they put different they put lectures on different DVDs and stuff, and just give them out. I don't mind that. I don't mind, as long as you give me credit or whatever. And I think they have they edit it, and they have different names of who the people are or whatever. But they put out different truthful stuff, not just just gobbledygook or whatever, just people just saying shit. But they're trying to get back into the whole DVDs and putting out lectures on physical things, and I think that's pretty cool. So I'm going to also have it not just where you can purchase it and just watch it online. You can download it as well, because I feel like it'll be easier for you to. You can download it on your phone if you want to, but it'd be easier for you to sit down and watch this and just go along with it. But yeah, this is on thaumaturgy, and the basis when it comes to me of magic and alchemy, real true alchemy, not and real true magic and real true. I don't even want to say manifestation, because what we're going to be talking about is more than just manifesting some money just to please your ego, or just so-called manifesting. And let me get into that. Matter of fact, what people are calling manifesting today is not really manifesting or magic. It's really just survival. Because when you're talking about somebody, I'm trying to manifest a partner, how come a human always tries to manifest something when you look at a worm, something of the lowest of existence on this fucking planet, a germ, can find a partner? What makes it that the human cannot get these things, or we have to do all these fucking things, or get a light a candle to get some money and do all these fucking things just for really your survival? See what I'm saying? So it's it's not even, when it comes to this path, you have to, that's why it's important. That's why I always say, man, I'm thankful that I was taught a certain way, and I was taught in truth and righteousness, and I listened and I practiced really truly, and I can really truly say I'm on a spiritual path, you know what I'm saying, because of that. And it's not even me bragging. That's something that you really truly have to uphold, and stuff you have to do, and you have to present yourself. And not even in no way you're acting, but you actually have to do this. You see what I'm saying? But why did that go off just now? Let me see. Got this cord that hardly don't work. There you go. But yeah. But like I said, you have to, just give an example, and I'm gonna go ahead and get into the lesson. But it's good that we have, like Bobby Hemmett say, the hard copy first, but it's you have to reprogram, like you say, your mind first. Like I say, I don't really like using these terms, but, and what I mean by that is somebody said, the example I'm going to give is, you can be in church. Like, people talk about Christians all day. Christians in the church, they did all this and all that. But most of us was raised in the church, right? So it's like all those years you have Jesus in the back of your mind, and then somebody, these, dumb people out here get into all this shit. You still have a subconscious belief, no matter if you talk about this dumbass Anunnaki or whatever, or you watch whoever and you take their little workshop or whatever. You just did the same thing you did, talking about Christians in the church. You doing the same thing in a different environment. The collection plate is just you paying that damn workshop. You see what I'm saying? And you're not even really learning anything from that, because you haven't done any work here or here first. And what we're going to be talking about in that is this, because we can be talking about real magic here. We can be talking about in this. We can be talking about real, true magic, real, true alchemy, and real magic intention planting. Not no this bullshit most of these people out here are telling y'all. It's not real magic, and it's not me hating, so-called hating on. That's me telling the truth. It's not real magic. Like I said, that shit is survival. That's just some shit you can do on your own with common sense. Oh, your job, you man, fix up your resume. Get some money, get a skill, get a trade. Stop being a lazy fuck. Stop being like somebody so influenced you to be a bum ass bitch. Like, you know what I'm saying? But we're not gonna get into that. We're gonna get into the lesson here. But the book I'm gonna be coming from today is Qabbalistic Magic. Talismans, psalms, amulets, and the practice of high ritual. And this has been abandoned. You know what I'm saying? Getting into books, getting into real true scholarship, because people just run out the mouth just saying shit because, stuff like this is boring, and people, it's just, people do shit just for the money and shit like that. And me, man, I was taught by the old school people, man. I'm bringing back these type of lectures, bro. Like, bringing back real true fucking information for people. So I'm saying that you can really actually truly practice. See what I'm saying? Because I'm tired of people looking at the spirits, like real true spiritual people like me, like we a part of these fucks out here just talking to spiritual frequencies and vibrations in my chakras, of the Anunnakis, of the frequencies of the vibrations. We're not that. I am not that. See what I'm saying? We real true initiates in this work, and we about to, you know what I'm saying? And niggas like me, we about to show and prove that we are by teaching this to people that really is truly about this work. But anyways, like I was saying, and the reason why I brought that up is because, I'm tired of people saying, oh, you're getting stuff out. No, it ain't just nobody reading something out of a book. This is showing where I'm getting my information from, not just me copying out of a book, but also giving reference points. This is how you teach, this is how you learn, this is how you grow, this is how you know and flow. This is real true gnosis. But really, truly, the real true gnosis and knowledge isn't really truly, it's not in a book. Like how they say that, that corny shit, but really what they should say, what they don't know, it's the oral tradition. So, because the only reason why motherfuckers wrote shit down is because the oral tradition has left. But anyway, that's another little lesson right there. But really, it's the oral, it's the shamanic tradition, the what they call pre-dynastic, the pre-shit. See what I'm saying? It's that shit. But we gonna get into all that right now. But I'm going to, what is thaumaturgy? Thaumaturgy is let's look it up real quick. And also I'm going to show y'all how to really truly study here. So thaumaturgy, and if ain't nobody else doing this, they ain't really teaching you. They not really showing you. If they're not really showing you where they get their information from. But thaumaturgy. Now, when I was looking up thaumaturgy, not even looking it up, because I already knew what it was, but just for you guys, a whole bunch of stuff from like, all these RPG games that, most of us love to play, that's into this shit, it started coming up like Dungeons and Dragons, and fucking some Elder Scrolls stuff came up, and it's like, it's relevant. You know how that's relevant? It's because these stories and these different games, board games, and because Bobby Hemmett used to say that Bobby Hemmett used to always mention RPG games in his lectures. He used to always, because when I used to listen to his lectures, I used to be like, oh shit, because he used to mention going to the comic book shops, and because he used to always say, say that niggas, you know, in the so-called conscious community will look at that stuff. Oh, that's so-called white people, and I know exactly how that is. I know exactly what it is. But he would look at it when you're really truly on this path. He would look at it as like, he was like, oh shit, this is our shit. So I was like, yo, he must have went into one of them shops because you know, he one of them older type of people. You know, he must have looked at one of them games or whatever. You know. He probably didn't know how to use a Sega Saturn, or because it was back in '96, or PlayStation or whatever. So he probably looked at the game, looked at the back of the game, and read the book of the game or whatever. And then you know how much of a scholar he was. He was like, oh shit, this is talking about this shit. You know what I'm saying? But y'all get what I'm saying. But yeah, but it's relevant. But this thaumaturgy, it goes way back, you know, to our practices, our ancient practices, which is what some of these stories they copy from, just to give you a good story, these mythologies. But what thaumaturgy is, the performance of miracles, basically. But thaumaturgy has Greek roots. The magic of thaumaturgy is miraculous. The word, from a Greek word meaning miracle working, is applicable to any performance of miracles, especially by incantation. So words, Hecate is the goddess of sword and sorcery. So Heka means your words, your power, where your word is your power. Your word is your sword of truth. Your word, in the beginning it was the word. So the incantation or cantrip, it even mentions cantrips in here as well too. So a cantrip is basically the magician's words you speak, the words you say. And when I was looking at thaumaturgy, there was something interesting that came up. Hold on, let me show y'all. Is Gandalf using thaumaturgy. So look at this. This is, I don't want to get, but it's basically, let me see, this right here, this is a good example. He's basically using his words to conjure up this fucking.
It's mine. My own. My precious.
Precious? It's been called that before, not by you.
Ah, business isn't of yours, what I do with my own
I
things.
think you've had that ring quite long enough.
You want it for yourself.
Bilbo Baggins! Do not take me for some conjurer of cheap tricks. I am not trying to rob you. I'm trying to help you.
He ain't pull out no staff, he ain't pull out no crystal, he ain't do shit. He said, what the fuck? Hey bitch, don't take me for no conjure cheap tricks now. I ain't no smoke and mirrors, motherfucker. I'm a real wizard. And this is what we about to get into today. We about to get into some real magic for y'all. There's no manifesting money, manifesting this and doing that. That's survival. You can already do that. That's about being an adult. Because you get into some real shit. You see what I'm saying? Then this one right here. See how he ain't pulling out no.
Never before has any voice uttered the words of that tongue here in Imladris.
Do not ask your pardon, Master Elrond, for the black speech of Mordor may yet be heard in every corner of the West.
Now see, and the reason why he said that is because anybody else would have said that shit, their ass would have got fucked up. All kinds of dark orc spirit motherfuckers would have been surrounded their ass. But him being Gandalf, you know, and it's the because see, when Tolkien wrote this, is once again, it's mythology. It's the story of King Solomon as well. Why was King Solomon able to control the 72? Because he was a holy and righteous person to begin with. He was already a fucking wizard to begin with, so he was able to use them. So with people, and that's another thing too, man. Certain individuals out there, we're gonna get into that later. Individuals out there that's working with that shit, and they lying, and they some on some other shit. They pretending they working. If they is working with that shit, that's some dangerous shit. Because look, bro, you can't be working with shit. Because in this book, we're gonna get into some shit. You can't be fucking with this shit if you're not on a real spiritual path, or if you fucking with fucking false prophet motherfuckers. You cannot, do not. You gonna fuck yourself up, and that's some real shit. That's not even me just saying that. That's some real shit. Gods and goddesses are real. Magic is real. Just believe. You don't even believe that. You better know that. Know that. See what I'm saying? So we about to get into this. But first, what you have to get into is start out with is your intention. In this book, it calls it the kavana. So because we're going to get into it on a Kabbalistic perspective, because it's one of my first. It's one of my first paths of magic. Now I'm getting into Nordic magic. I ain't gonna say I'm an expert in Kabbalistic magic, because there's different Kabbalistic fucking magic. There's Kabbalah with a K, with a C, and with a Q. We're talking about today Kabbalah with a Q. Kabbalah with a C is more so your esoteric Christianity. Kabbalah with a K is more so, you like your Kabbalah with, your Jewish traditional, whatever. Kabbalah, True to Life, Ketcher, Hokmah, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? That shit is boring to me now. But then there's the Kabbalah with a Q, where it deals with on a cosmic level, on a universal level. It deals with it on a physical level. It's kind of like the Kabbalah with a Q. It's kind of like the final initiation into real, true Kabbalistic magic. But let's get into this. Once again, this book is Kabbalistic Magic, Talismans, Psalms, Amulets, and the Practice of High Ritual by Shlomo Baal Shem. Now, with this book, you don't necessarily have to get the. This is how you know I fuck with this book and my books, But you don't have to get the physical book. You can. I recommend you do. But if if you're a traveler or whatever, you don't got time, you don't have time to carry around books or whatever, you can get this on Scribe. Go to the link down below and use my link. You get, a free month or whatever, and some other perks. A whole lot of different books on there, scribe.com. You can get this book right here on Scribe, and you can just, read along with me with this. But yeah, let's get on with it. Let me see if I can get some good lighting. All right, let's see. But first, before we get into that, I want to get into more about thaumaturgy. I feel like I haven't really touched base. It's just a really truly. Let's see. Like thaumaturgy, motion pictures, blah blah blah. Thaumaturgy at work, the athletics team, miracle, magician. Yeah, you basically get it. You basically get it. But I want to show you what I saw, and I've been doing saint magic recently, and this came up, and I didn't know there was a saint called Gregory Thaumaturgus. Saint Gregory Thaumaturgus, and this is in the Britannica. I used to read the Britannica when I was little. I used to actually go through it and read it. But it talks about Saint Gregory Thaumaturgus, Saint Gregory Thaumaturgus of Nicosia, Pontus Polemonius, Polemoniacus. Damn, that's a weird one to say. I can say this one, but I can't say this one. Okay. Oh man. The Neo-Caesarea feast day, November 17th. That's his feast day. Greek Christian, apostle of Roman Asia, and champion of orthodoxy in the 3rd century. Trinitarian. And a lot of this stuff, when I do my own research and watch other people's videos about alternative history, a lot of this stuff was, dealing with mud fossils and mud flood and all that stuff. A lot of this stuff, like pictures like this, stuff like this, they look at pictures like this and they decode it. And, like these old pictures, and they look at the castles in it and the artwork and the different stuff. And there's one video talks about saints' relics. We're gonna get into a video on that, saints' relics and stuff like that. they have, and it has magical purposes. But yeah, just you know, just a little thing on here you guys can read up if you want to. But yeah, Saint Gregory Thaumaturgus. But in this book, Kavana, I'll try to get some more light. But I'm sure I can see if I can. Okay, so Kavana is the fundamental principle of Qabbalistic magic. Although it is not easy to translate into English, the dictionary definitions are intention, meaning concentration, devotion. In Qabbalistic literature, Kavana means all of them. In order to cause any magical effect, you must create a thought form and do so with a specific intention and concentration. Now, when it comes to that, you have to, that is very important, because if you cannot concentrate, you cannot be in this. You cannot do this. What helped me with my concentration was realizing, once again, this is about knowing yourself once again, realizing I have a lot of shin. And astrology does play a part in this a little bit, but not like in a whole fucking thing where it's like, because astrology is archon shit. Really, you should get into astrological magic, which is what we're going to get into in later lessons, but this is the foundation. The fucking place. She was like, yo, since you want to contact me about this shit, okay, nigga, I'm going to use, how about this? I ain't going to get at him. I'm going to use you to get at him. I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, bitch. Whatever. All right, man. Whatever. All right. But let me tell y'all something. When y'all go to these different gods and goddesses about shit, this stupid shit, they laugh at y'all. Like, here's what they do. This is what Hecate told me that they do for women. When they come to y'all, like oh my God, and it makes sense. And it makes sense. When they come to these different gods and goddesses, especially these goddesses about fucking a man and this and that and this, especially if they're not on a real spiritual path, and especially if they fuck with a fucking Jezebel motherfucking false prophetess biatch that be putting the words in goddesses' mouth and shit. It's like they'll do a ritual to them, and Hecate's like, you know, we get some, like, because best believe, they just like bitches down here, the goddesses. They get together, goddesses of different cultures now, they get together up there, and they talk about y'all bitches, some of y'all bitches. They be on that shit. And they be like, yo, yeah, you know, we give them like the man and watch them fuck it up. And they laugh. Like, that shit that Brother Panic used to always say, oh, Oshun came, that like bitches used to say, Oshun, I brushed your hair, I had a dream I brushed Oshun hair. That's some thing that bitches say or whatever. And he just be like, he'll be in a consultation or they'll say something or whatever, they'll say something. And he'd be like, oh, they expect him to say, oh, good job, or that's some amazing, fantastical thing. He'd be like, you slave, you fucking. It's just like that. It's just like, yo, that's what I say. When you come to these, like, we talking about calling down divine power. We're just talking about it in this book. We're not talking about going to doing something that you can already fucking do in your humanity. It's fucking no. I mean, you can already do this in your humanity when it comes to this, but what we talking about is like, we not waking up old gods, like Bob Haynes would say, for some fuck ass shit, basically. Get the fuck out of here. There is an ancient text called Chapter about the chapter book, so y'all can lead that movie, y'all. So all these motherfuckers talking about, you know, silly. I ain't gonna get into it. You're gonna see how fucking the black gods feel about your melanin. Bitch ass. Chapter about the Kavana according to ancient Qabbalists with commentary. Whoever fixes something in his mind with perfect fixation will find that the essence will turn to him. That's a good quote. If you are able to concentrate on the one thing to the exclusion of everything else, you will attract the essence of this thing. And if you make a connection with it, you will be able to change it. Most people cannot direct their thoughts, and they cannot keep one thing at a time in their mind. They want one thing and its opposite, and therefore they achieve nothing. Let me say that again. That's ooh. And that's what's wrong with some of y'all out there. That's what's wrong with some. I say about 80% of y'all motherfuckers in the so-called conscious community. That's what's wrong with you motherfuckers. They want one thing and its opposite, and therefore they achieve nothing. Why haven't you motherfuckers achieved nothing? Because you want one thing and its opposite. You want freedom and this for the people and black people and the conscious people and spiritual people, but you on the other hand, you support these fucks. You want one thing and its opposite. Even that is a good example. Is fucking self. See, and in this work, you can't have mixed thoughts. You have to be of sound mind. You can't be, if you like to say you're a female, you can't be against the patriarchy and then go do a fucking ritual to Belial of the Lesser Keys of Solomon. Get the fuck. And there's one so-called teacher out there that's with that shit talking about doing rituals to Astaroth and Belial. Do you think any god or goddess out here or any fucking spirit or being gives a fuck about your patriarchy or matriarchy? Get the fuck out of here. Let's see. Okay, and then we're going to get into... It's a ritual in here that we're going to get into as well. Let's see. And it's called, let's see. What is it? Therefore. Okay, here it is. Therefore, if thou prayest, is in speaking in this old English, so I'm just gonna say it in old English. So here we go. Therefore, if thou prayest and speakest a blessing, or if thou want to focus on something in its truth, visualize with thy mind that thou art light, and everything around thee is light, and from every corner and from every side shines light, and inside the light is a throne of light, and on it is the Or Naga, or glowing light. And opposed to it is another throne of light, and on it is the Or Tov, or good light, and it will be like thou art between them. So it's saying when there's a meditation, imagine light around you, basically everywhere. And then, because it gives this diagram right here, let me show it to you guys. It gives this diagram right here of where to, and it reminds me of, what's that shit? I just did it the other day, and why do I have to keep forgetting it? Damn. Not the and it does remind me of the Qabbalistic cross too. But what's the other one? Damn. Ahaya. Damn. It's the pillars of light down the center. I keep forgetting it. But it's the different words of power you say down the center. The first one is Ahaya, Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah Vada'as, Shaddai El Kai, Adonai Ha'aretz. What the fuck? How do I forget the name of that junk? But it's we're gonna get into that in another video. But we're not gonna talk about that one now. That's in the next lesson anyways. But it gives this this diagram of how you should imagine these different orbs in your body. But I'm going to read them, just in case you want to, read along or, do this meditation. But the second part is to avenge turn. what does it say avenge? To avenge, turn to the Naga, and to be compassionate, turn to the Tov. Oh, okay, I see what it's saying. So the different lights that in the previous paragraph that I read, you turn to them. So the average I won't say average, but it says avenge, because it's speaking in this old English, in this meditation ritual that's given out in this book. To avenge, turn to the Noga. Oh, I get why it's saying that. To be expunged of basically your negative deeds or your humanity, basically. And to be compassionate, turn to the Tov. And the words that come from your lips, literally that which come from your lips, shall face its countenance, and turn thyself to the right, and you will find light. This is the Or Bahir, bright light, and at thy left thou wilt find splendor. This is the Or Mazhir, shining light, and between them and above them is the Or Ha-Chavud, light of the glory, and around it is the Or Shaim, light of life, and above it is the Keter Ha-Or, crown of light, that crowns the objects of the thoughts and enlightens the ways of the visualizations, who makes the shininess Zohar of the visions shine, and there is no fathom nor limit to this light. Okay. And this is just giving out a meditation, just that meditation in this book. I think it's given out just as like a example on the different ways you can use your kavana or intentions. And we see, I'm going to skip on to page 40. And right here it says, there can be no thought or desire that distracts you if the power of the kavana is well developed. The power of your intention is well developed. Let's see. Inner strength comes from a strong will. A strong will comes from a clear mind that has a definite idea of what it wants. Clear visualization. Clear visualization is created by precise thought and observation. Magical power is developed by spiritual achievement, and fortitude is developed by contemplating the light of the One. Where there is no passing thought and desire interfering with it, the kavana intensifies through the might of the direct to the draw, to draw down emanation coming from the Ein Sof. The more you are able to attract the influence of the unmanifest, the stronger the kavana becomes. It fulfills everything in every work to his mind and to his will. If he knows how to differentiate the edges of the limited things and the will of their thoughts from the essence from which they are, and he will ascend above them through the power of his kavana, and he will go deeper in order to counteract his sterile way, and he can create a new way to his will by the power of his kavana that comes from the perfect glory of the hidden light that has neither figure nor image, neither measure nor size, neither estimation nor limit, neither account nor ending, and no fathom and no number and no end in any regard. By the power of the kavana, everything and every work can be accomplished according to the will of the Qabbalist. Note, that the text describes interaction of will and mind, or power and form. In order to do so, you must learn to differentiate between that which comes from the limited world and that comes from the divine source. This means you must learn to differentiate between the needs, desires, thoughts, and limitations of your mortal self and the divine from which all things come. In this way, you can ascend above these limitations and reach a level of spiritual depth that enables you to neutralize the limitations by connecting to the light of the One, which is beyond human understanding. Yep. So we're going to get into next the divine influx, or the Shifa. For indeed, the Shifa, divine influx, is like a strong fount that never ceases. But only if he is careful in his approach to the highest will in the matter, that he clothes the highest will in the will of his aspiration, by union of the highest will and the lower will, by its identification and by devotion to the unity, he draws down the Shifa in order to attain his spiritual perfection. The divine influx is unlimited. In order to attract this unlimited power, we must unite our conscious intentions with the highest will by devotion to the One. Thus, we can attain spiritual perfection and accomplish our aims, for then they are identical with the aims of the One. So the only way you can attract this divine influx of what it's talking about, and this divine influx is talking about the divine intentions or influences of the One, the source, or what it's or Keter, or Ein Sof. Now, or the worlds before. And it talks about your human desires. And that's why I mentioned before, we ain't talking about no goddamn manifesting money and manifesting love and all this bullshit. We talking about actually, you saw what Gandalf did? We're talking about that shit. I'm trying to make motherfucking ice spikes and not lasers, fuck that. Fucking, you know, be no cyborg motherfucker. We're talking about magic, you know, fire and motherfucking electricity and all that shit come out my motherfucking hands. Fuck that shit. You see what I'm saying? We getting into some real deal shit. We ain't talking about that. But first, you have to have the right mind. See what I'm saying? That's what it's getting into. You have to have the right mind first. If you don't have the right mind, the mind is all. The universe is mental. Bro, you're not going to get shit done. And that's why in the beginning, it's what I say. What it say? Not even what I say. What the book say. Well, I said it because I said it out the book. But what the book say? You want one thing and it's opposite. Your mind wants one thing and it's ours. That's why you don't get nothing done. That's why you achieve nothing. So, there we go. And we're going to get, let me see. Now, oh yeah, and it gets into this too. We're going to get into this. Let's get into this. It gets into, now most people out there, when it comes to magic and alchemy and all this different stuff and get to spiritual, some people would say that they would be like, do as thou wilt. And what that means is, what that really truly means is, do as thou wilt. What that really means is, in the world of magic and alchemy, is, you know, having your own, like what I mentioned about having a mixed martial artist practice. But what some people would say is, oh, do what you want. Yeah, you can do what you want, but just let you know that, like I said, magic is real and goddesses are real. And if you come to the gods and goddesses on some fuck ass shit, just don't play with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Just do, you know, it's you know. A lot of people like to use shit like that for their own image, putting words in ancient texts and words in gods and goddesses' mouth to make themselves look good or look a certain way or look bad or look tough. But it really looks stupid. On a cosmic level, it looks stupid. To stupid people on the internet, they gonna look cool. She gonna look, it's gonna look like it's the shit. But really, in the cosmos, it's gonna look like a little bitch. Trust me. And that's why I say be careful who you fucking follow when it comes to this shit. But yeah, if you try to use this method to fulfill your own selfish or egotistic desires, you will fail. You will fail. That's what I say. How many times y'all gotta listen to fucking money stuff and all this shit? See what I'm saying? Learn something. Get a job. Learn a trade. Learn a skill. Oh, he said get a job. He said get a job. She said get a job. Yeah, work. What's wrong with that? Because in your 5D society and the frequencies and the melanins and vibrations and the Anunnakis and all that old bullshit, who gonna cook? Who gonna build the roads? Who's gonna? So y'all just gonna be some lazy influencer motherfuckers? That's basically what y'all saying. The fuck out of here, man. Like just simple stuff like that you can do on your own. Like fulfill your own selfish desires on your own fucking time. When it comes to magic time, nigga, like it's time to manifest real, true, divine motherfucking power. What the fuck? If you try to connect yourself to the divine in order to serve your egotistic wishes, the attempt cannot succeed. They gonna laugh at your ass. Like I said, that's some real shit. They gonna laugh and make mockery of your fucking ass. They gonna send a nigga like me to motherfucking pick on you, not even pick on your ass, to tell you and other niggas what the fuck is up. Because I've done that. I'm still doing that. You will succeed only if you manage to identify your will with the highest will in such a way that your desires are purified of everything that is not in harmony with the highest will. Now, let's say this. Let's say you're out there, let's say, okay, and I've literally seen this work and I've seen this happen. And this is how gods and goddesses think. I've seen a girl who practices like Santeria and all this stuff and Palomyombe and Yoruba, but she's never been to like different houses and initiations and all that shit. But she can make some shit happen because she's humble at heart. She has no intentions of like doing all this other shit and looking good and taking pictures and being in videos and all fuck ass shit, because she has pure of heart. And all these things, Yemiya and Madre de Agua and all these shit can go to her, can fuck with her because she has a pure heart. They don't care about all that shaking chickens and all that shit. They don't give a fuck about that shit. It's about it's about what's inside of you, especially a mother figure goddesses like that. You see what I'm saying? She'll somebody like that do a ritual and they need a job or need some money or something like that, and they really truly need it, and they do a ritual, they gonna come through for that person. You see what I'm saying? Now I'm not saying like if you do that you really do need it and you humble at heart. No, what I'm saying is that other shit. You see what I'm saying? Let's just give you an example. But where was I at? Only those who are led by their higher self are able to understand this secret. And if he approaches in this way, then also the highest will comes close to him and aids fortitude to his power and desire to his will to accomplish and complete anything, and even for the thing he wants for himself, literally even for the will of his soul, in which the highest will has no portion. There we go. If, however, you try to connect to the divine in a truly selfless way, the divine will approach and meet you halfway. And in this case, the divine will adds power to yours, and your will shall become stronger, and everything you do will become more perfect, and even Personal aims that are not a direct path of the highest will may be accomplished providing they do not contradict the highest will. And it has something from Proverbs, right? And regarding this, it is written, he that strives for good seeketh will. Proverbs 11:27. This Proverbs means that he who strives for the highest aims also seeks to fulfill the will of the one, for both are the same. Let's see. And it talks about if your will is united with the will of the Creator and directed onto a matter suitable to be subject to the divine influx, then the divine power will cause a change according to your will. This will happen because the divine power will be added to your power, and Kavana will draw, and your Kavana will draw down the divine influx. The Shifa comes from Keter and descends through Shokma, Bina, and Da'at. So that's where the divine influx comes from. I told y'all the world before. Or if you look at the Qabbalistic of life, you know. But if you're on my Patreon, if you're not on my Patreon, go to my lectures I got on my Hebrew letters, because I got another one coming up soon, and I get into all of that stuff. All right. So what else can we see? Let's get into. Okay, we're gonna get into the technique. So the only way you're gonna get this next part is if you've been with me so far, and if you've downloaded the lecture on my website, or if you have, gotten a Patreon subscription. All three tiers, get lectures or whatever. But yeah, this part we're gonna get into this visualization technique, and I'm going to be talking about some different things that you can do along with this technique and along with other rituals that we're going to be talking about, that we're going to be getting into. And I'm going to be showing y'all a couple things, a couple talismans, a couple things that I do. And yeah, so yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, hopefully you do subscribe to not just the channel, but to all my other channels that I have everywhere else. Rumble, Kick, I do gaming streams sometimes, modding games and creating my own mods for games and reviewing mods and other stuff like that. I'm going to make another separate channel for that, media and stuff like that. I got a whole bunch of stuff I'm doing, music. But yeah, hopefully you guys got something out of this, and see you in space.